The Young and the Restless spoilers update for Monday, September 29th reveals that Jack Abbott will reject Billy Abbott's plea for money, while Nick Newman confesses to Victoria Newman. At the Newman Ranch, Victor Newman and Nikki Newman will have some strategy news to share. Nikki and Victor will suspect Jill Abbott can influence Cain and appeal to his better angels, leaving Cain vulnerable. Nick and Victoria will also find out about Jack's temporary alliance proposition, so they'll end up worrying about these new tactics and the potential for catastrophe. As for Nikki, she'll have some fears about Victor exploiting Jack's attempt at a truce, and she'll worry that Jill could turn against them for Cain's sake in the end. Once Nick joins Victoria at society, they'll engage in a little more business talk before Nick admits he's going away for a week or two. Victoria will quiz her brother, so Nick will confess about his trip to LA with Sharon Newman and their plan to see Noah Newman. In the park, Sally Spectra will give Audra Charles updates on Abbott communications, hopefully starting back up. Audra will be wary of the trust Sally's putting in Billy, especially when she learns he's off trying to get Jack to reinstate their funding. It'll frustrate Audra, since they'll once again be at the mercy of two men making decisions about their future. At Jabot, Jack will get Jill on a video call, so she'll assume there's trouble and guess Billy is involved. Although Jack will acknowledge that Jill hurt Billy, he won't want to take sides in all that, and will shift the focus to Cain. Jill won't get why everyone views Cain as such a big threat, so Jack will think she needs to come to Genoa City and see the truth for herself. When Billy interrupts, Jack will end the video call without telling his brother who he was talking to. Billy will hope Jack's willing to give him the funding for Abbott Communications back, but Jack won't think he can do that. Despite Billy's protests, Jack will be done with all the games and will insist Billy's pushed him too far. Since Jack might need that money for other things now that this Cain drama's heating up, he'll decline to give it to Billy again. After Billy fumes and heads to Crimson Lights, he'll let Sally and Audra know Jack didn't come through on the funding. However, Billy will refuse to give up when it comes to turning things around and launching Abbott Communications. Back with Jack, he'll pay another visit to the Newman Ranch and hope Victor's ready to say yes to teaming up against Cain. At the Abbott mansion, Clare Newman will have an adorable reunion with Harrison Abbott and take him to school with Kyle Abbott. Afterward, it'll be time for some harsh truths, since Clare won't think her confusion about her relationship is really about what Kyle did at this point. Clare will feel like she's the issue instead, and will want the freedom to make her own choices as well as mistakes. As Clare cries, she'll talk about jumping into a relationship with Kyle fast and relying on other people's opinions when things got tough. Clare will feel like she needs to trust her own instincts now, so she'll push Kyle to give her the room to grow on her own. Kyle will reel over Clare breaking up with him, since he thought they were on track to move in and get married someday. Although Clare won't be saying it's forever, Kyle will clearly be devastated and irritated over Clare pushing for this time apart. Next on Monday's Y&R show, Clare will make her way to the park and smile as she calls to accept Holden Novak's Los Angeles trip proposal. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Clare will have a chance to explore things with Holden, so stay tuned to see if she'll find what she's looking for. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that we have to ask, is it time for Victor Newman to lose for once? Jack Abbott and Cain Ashby's new plan could be a game changer depending on what direction the story goes from here. Y&R certainly delivers plenty of business stories, so Victor and Newman Enterprises are often involved. Those stories tend to be rather dull since the outcome is always the same. Victor wins all over again. There's no real excitement if Victor emerges victorious every time. We get that Victor is a powerful guy, but he could stand to lose occasionally, just to shake things up and give the mustache a reason to strike back even harder. Victor's new alliance with Jack presents an interesting opportunity. In the September 29th episode, Nikki Newman will voice concerns about the possibility of Victor twisting Jack's olive branch into a way to hurt him. However, the true curveball could come if it's the other way around. What if Jack manages to use this partnership to go after Victor? Jack knows this alliance is only going to be a temporary thing, so he'll have to be prepared for Victor to become a true enemy again. This truce won't last, so Jack will keep that in mind. Even as they work together against Cain, Victor and Jack will hope that by bringing Jill Abbott into the mix, she'll be able to influence Cain and put him on a less sinister path. That could leave Cain vulnerable to whatever bad news Jack and Victor want to throw at him next. The scheme may work on some level, but Jill still bears the last name Abbott and has a forever connection to the family through her son, Billy Abbott. In other words, Jill may find herself on Team Abbott in the end and convince Cain to join forces with Jack. This might be Jack's chance to blindside Victor with a new alliance and throw his oldest foe for a loop. Jack might sabotage any nefarious plan. The mustache might put in motion for Cain and spin it around on Victor instead. A loss for Victor would be a game changer, even if it's just a temporary one. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Victor and Jack's team effort will end in disaster one way or another, so stick with us for updates on what's in store for them. The past 2 weeks of The Young and the Restless have been stormy for Billy and Sally, ever since Cain canceled the launch party for Abbott Communications and offered Billy his AI program. Billy saw it as a chance to take down Victor and reclaim Chancellor Industries. Sally knew he was in over his head, but she couldn't get him to realize it, so she finally walked out on him. We thought their days as a couple were over. But now that Cain changed his mind about giving Billy the AI software, saying he was too much of a wild card, Billy realized his obsession with Chancellor was costing him the woman he loved. On Friday's episode of The Young and the Restless, Billy managed to convince Sally that she is more important to him than reclaiming Chancellor. Was he sincere about it? It's hard to tell, since his primary goal for so many months has been to get Chancellor back, ever since his mother, Jill, sold it to Victor. But when Cain left Billy high and dry, it seemed like that was the ice-cold water in Billy's face that made him realize he was foolish to trust Cain, and he was now alone because of it. So when he apologized repeatedly to Sally and said she means more to him than Chancellor does, did he really mean it? Or was it an act of desperation because he didn't want to be alone? Poor Sally has it bad for Billy, but it feels like it's just a matter of time before this all blows up in her face again. Maybe she should have kept him at arm's length for a while and let him prove that he really has moved on from Chancellor, instead of letting him sweet-talk his way back into her arms so quickly. We know he does genuinely care for her, but what's that saying about leopards never changing their spots? Maybe he knows Sally should come first, and that's why he chose her. But in his heart, does he truly want her more than Chancellor? We have to wonder, if he were given another opportunity to get the company back, would he take it? In the sneak peek for next week on The Young and the Restless, we see Sally video chatting with Jill and telling her, "I've fallen in love with your son, and we have a real problem." Is she going to tell her about Billy's obsession with reclaiming Chancellor and how it caused a rift in their relationship? Does Sally secretly doubt him, even though he insists she is more important to him than Chancellor is? How does she think Jill can help her? We can guess how angry Billy will be when he eventually finds out Sally went behind his back and expressed her concerns to Jill. He won't trust her anymore, even though Sally has the best intentions. Is this couple doomed to split up in the not-so-distant future? Do they know about Victor and Jack potentially working together? In the Monday, September 29th episode of The Young and the Restless, teasers reveal that Victor sets a trap for Cain. Does this leave Nick, Adam, and Chelsea waiting for the fallout, or are they actually involved in carrying out the plan? Nick has been anti-Cain, especially since the man locked him up during their summer vacation in Nice, France. But he's also had reservations about how far his dad was willing to go to stop the man from doing any damage to the family company. Is he good with whatever manner Victor chooses to stop Cain? Meanwhile, Adam has been pro-pop doing whatever it takes to bring down Cain, AI software and all. Surprisingly, Chelsea has been on board. As long as it keeps the focus off of Billy, right, Chelsea? On Monday, look for a meeting of the minds as Nick, Adam, and Chelsea seem to be on the periphery of Victor's plan to take down Cain. The Newman guru didn't get his hands on that incredibly powerful AI software that can take down companies, and he was unsuccessful in weaponizing Cain to use it against Jabot. So, what part do Victor's children play in this war and his latest plan? And does this scheme have anything to do with working with his fiercest rival, Jack Abbott? Michael isn't good at keeping a secret from his wife, Lauren. This week's messiest move goes to Michael on The Young and the Restless. He lied to Lauren about breaking ties with Victor. Now, he's back to helping the mustache, despite the trouble he's gotten himself into before. Michael thought he could woo Lauren and make her think everything is A-okay in his life. He pulled out all the stops to plan a romantic night. But Lauren is a smart cookie. She could tell that Michael was keeping something from her. The last time he made a romantic gesture, he told her that he would stop working for Victor. But he found himself back in Victor's orbit once again. This time, he's trying to get intel on Cain. Meanwhile, Y&R fans fear for Michael's future. Michael thinks he can distract his wife with a romantic dinner, but Lauren knows he's not being completely honest with her. So, he tells her that he's working for Cain. Victor considers his work more important than his marriage to Lauren. This does not bode well for the couple, who will celebrate their 20th anniversary in December 2025, if they even last by then. Michael acts as if he's more in love with Victor. He will bend his way rather than listen to his wife. Lauren already warned him about lying to her face. She swore that she would never forgive him. Michael admitted that he would hate for anything to come between them and their marriage, but that has already happened. He also acts like his work is for some noble cause, when in actuality, he's just going to break the law again. He should have spoken to Lauren about the job before he took it on. Michael and Lauren have had a solid marriage despite his loyalty to Victor. But this could be the last straw. Interestingly enough, Cain's return has shaken up most of the major couples on the show. Is Lauren and Michael's marriage doomed? The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that drunk Kyle Abbott may face some bedroom horror and wake up to find a shocking woman by his side. Kyle could be on the verge of a major spin-out following Clare Newman's breakup decision, so here's how things might go down. Once the week of September 29th and October 3rd gets underway, Clare will announce her desire for time apart. Since Clare wants to be her own person and make some decisions for herself, she needs to take a step back from Kyle for that to happen. Of course, Kyle may suspect this split is more about Holden Novak once he learns Clare's headed to Los Angeles with him. Clare will indeed accept Holden's LA offer and jet off to explore the city, as well as their mutual attraction. Y&R fans know Kyle recently had a drunk outburst at the Jazz Lounge, and that was before Clare's decision to call it quits. After Clare ends things, that could make Kyle even more determined to drown his sorrows. Kyle may get drunk all over again, but his timing will be interesting. That's because Audra Charles is about to make a reunion plea to Nate Hastings before facing his rejection. Audra may end up in the same drunk, disappointed boat, so it's easy to see how this might lead to Kyle and Audra's angry hookup. Will Audra and Kyle have too much to drink and let their conflict fuel some bedroom sparks? If that's the case, Kyle may wake up with a hangover and serious regrets. Even if there's some level of attraction between Kyle and Audra, he still loathes her and won't exactly want to bask in the afterglow. Kyle may also worry that if Clare finds out, it'll ruin any chance he might have of getting back together with her. Although Kyle will technically be single, sleeping with Audra won't do him any favors if he hopes to win Clare back. The Young and the Restless spoilers say things could get messy for Kyle in the coming episodes, so we'll bring you updates on any troubling news that might be on the way. The Young and the Restless, recap for Monday, September 29th, reveals that Clare Newman will break up with Kyle Abbott before calling Holden Novak to accept his Los Angeles offer. At the Abbott mansion, Kyle will summon Clare for breakfast, partly so they can talk, and partly because Harrison Abbott will be back from Milan. After Harrison hugs Clare and catches up with her, he'll get her to join Kyle in taking him to school. Later, Clare and Kyle will enjoy having a normal conversation, but they'll eventually have to address their issues. Kyle will want to know how to fix things between them, but Clare will admit she's not sure the confusion she's feeling is based on anything he did. Clare will acknowledge that she dove into this relationship quickly and didn't have the skills to cope when it got rocky. That led to Clare relying on other people's advice and opinions instead of trusting her own instincts. Now Clare will feel like she needs the room to make her own mistakes and decisions, so Kyle will realize she's breaking up with him. A tearful Clare will act like it could be good for them both in the long run. but Kyle will be upset since this isn't what he wants at all. Clare won't be saying this is forever, but she'll need to get out in the world and live on her own for a while. Since Clare will stand by her decision, she'll leave Kyle to sulk alone at the Abbott house. Next, Clare will make her way to the park, where she'll call Holden and wonder if his offer to show her LA is still open. At the Newman Ranch, Victor Newman and Nikki Newman will speak with Nick Newman and Victoria Newman about using Jill Abbott to manipulate Cain Ashby. Nick and Victoria will get updates on Jack Abbott's proposition about teaming up with Victor, so they'll worry this is a disaster waiting to happen. Nikki will also voice concerns about Victor using Jack's olive branch against him, but Victor won't see why she should care about that. As for Jill, Nikki will share some trust issues and worry she could betray them to help Cain if they rely on her for their plan. At Society, Victoria and Nick will debate the Cain situation before talk turns to Nick visiting Los Angeles for a couple weeks with Sharon Newman. At Jabot, Jack will get on a video call with Jill and urge her to come to Genoa City so she can see Cain's scheming for herself. When Billy appears in the doorway, Jack will abruptly end his Jill video chat and focus on his brother. Billy will make a pitch in hopes of getting his funding reinstated, but Jack will basically think he's too much of a wild card to trust. Besides, Jack might need that money for the corporate drama ahead, so he'll frustrate Billy by refusing to help him. In the park, Sally Spectra will tell Audra Charles that Abbott Communications might be back on track now that she's patched things up with Billy. Audra will have more concerns, but Sally will try to stay positive. A little later, Billy will look rather defeated as he approaches Sally and Audra at the coffee house. Sally will realize Jack turned Billy down on the funding, but Billy will argue this isn't over, not by a long shot. Back at the ranch on Monday's Y&R episode, Jack will show up to see if Victor's ready to strike a deal and join forces against Cain. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Victor and Jack's risky alliance will move forward soon, so stay tuned to see all the ways that could backfire and end in catastrophic news. The Young and the Restless spoilers are in for the week of September 29th, 2025. Fans can expect Jill Abbott to return to Genoa City. Sally Spectra keeps a secret. Plus, Clare Grace Newman takes Holden Novak's offer. Keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. At the beginning of the week, Sally reaches out to Jill via video call. The redhead tells Jill that she is in love with Billy Abbott. However, I wonder if a part of Sally is worried that she could be making the wrong decision once again. Maybe that's what the phone call is about. Billy would never go to his mother for funding, but I could see Sally doing it behind his back. In any case, Jill comes back to Genoa City by the end of the week. However, don't expect things between her and Billy to smooth out. In fact, Billy reopens old wounds with his mom. There will also be Sally, who keeps a secret. The redhead keeps this information from Billy. So, I wonder if Jill has some sort of plan? In any case, what happens when Billy finds out about Sally's deception? Even if she has good intentions, I could see Billy taking it all wrong. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of September 29th reveal that Clare makes a bold move. The blonde makes a phone call to Holden, where she finally accepts his proposition. The young man invited Clare to go to Los Angeles with him to get some space from Kyle Abbott. Fans will also see Nick Newman and Sharon Newman plan a trip to see Noah Newman. Meanwhile, Victor Newman and Jack Abbott strategize. Tessa Porter defends her actions. Michael Baldwin faces temptation. Meanwhile, Lauren Fenmore Baldwin puts Nikki Newman in a difficult position. Lily Winters and Amy Lewis find common ground. Audra Charles asks for another chance with Nate Hastings. However, she's asked this twice before, and he already said no. So, what makes the brunette think that third time is the charm? Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most on Monday, September 29th, 2025? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Keep watching the soap on CBS or Paramount Plus to find out what happens next. The Young and the Restless spoilers document that Victor Newman was just rejected by Cain Ashby. Jack Abbott will use that to his advantage and potentially ally with his longtime nemesis, whom he famously branded the Mustache. Michael Baldwin's insertion of himself into this growing battle adds to the intrigue and potential off-ramps. His firing by Cain will offer Lauren Fenmore Baldwin momentary relief, with fans knowing that Michael is also working with Victor. Cain's confidence in all areas implies that Arabesque does possess an artificial intelligence tool that can disrupt and dismantle any company in the world, with Genoa City, Wisconsin's, legacy businesses being his target. Yes, this is a believable plotline in today's world. However, more specifically, let's consider whether Newman Enterprises and Jabot's downfalls, for starters, wouldn't raise legal flags. What would Victor and Jack do if their long-standing businesses were suddenly toppled and no digital evidence existed to prove those crimes? Most importantly, they would have multiple witnesses who heard Cain state that he planned to use that machine-based weapon to go after those companies. That alone wouldn't mean he would be prosecuted, but surely a federal investigation would commence. Victor and Jack's connections would allow them to access whatever levers of power and fight back. Plus, Cain would be banking on none of his chosen allies, even those that departed, having recorded what he said or obtained some type of damaging documents. Amanda Sinclair would be the one person who could turn against Cain or simply believe she was stopping him from carrying out an ill-advised effort. Victor and Jack are natural enemies. Jack's the underdog, who's lost far more often than he's won. Like Victor repeats endlessly, Jack did inherit Jabot and didn't build it from the ground up, as is true of Newman Enterprises. Victor might not have realized that tipped Cain off to what she really thought of him, because Flynn's character inherited the wealth from his late father, Colin Atkinson, to found Arabesque and pursue the GC takeover plan. However, both men are being threatened simultaneously, but the audience has to wonder why Cain would allow so much of his takeover plan to be known. Could it be that Cain has been coercing so many counters that have been made during the gathering at his villa in the south of France, and since, which includes anticipating that these two enemies would forge a needed alliance? Lily Winters. Yes, she is the two-word sentence that answers this subject header and what looms over the heads of many in this city. Cain desperately wants to reconcile with her and their children as well. So, Lily holds the power to stop his plan if she offers real hope that getting back together is a reasonable expectation. She wouldn't have to remarry him immediately. Just offering an opening to her heart, which appears to already be there, could prevent what would be an irreversible set of takedowns. Lily is the love of Cain's life. If he is still hers, then there is a chance that love prevents war on YNR. Young and the Restless fans. Spoilers for Sept 229, Octio 3, 2025. Explore Billy Abbott begging, and Michael Baldwin exposed and possibly fired. As we always do on Early Edition Day, we start with what's coming the rest of this week, and then we get into what's coming next week. On Wednesday, September 24th, we have got Kyle Abbott and Audra Charles continuing the fight from Tuesday. They are hurling insults at each other in front of Sally Spectra. They get really nasty. Kyle mocks Audra for losing Nate Hastings, and she mocks Kyle for losing Clare Grace Newman to Holden Novak, which of course hasn't actually manifested yet. Audra lays into Kyle about his past divorces, how he can't keep a woman, and Jack Abbott and Diane Jenkins overhear them raging at each other. And it doesn't help that Kyle is drunk. Audra brings up that dirty secret that Kyle was on top of her in just a towel, and that he has been lying to Clare, which is true. Jack pulls them apart, and then Diane and Audra start arguing and swapping insults. Diane says, "Stay away from my son," and Audra says that she thinks Kyle deserves to suffer. Diane says Audra is just salty because she wants Kyle, and he doesn't want her back. Jack tells Kyle he needs to sober up because they've got bigger problems. Diane and Jack tell him about Billy conspiring with Cain Ashby. Sally overhears just as Billy calls her and asks her to meet. Jack and Diane tell Kyle about Cain's AI that can destroy any company and how worried they are about Jabot. They can't have him being drunk, acting out, obsessing over Audra right now. They need him on board. Lauren Fenmore is suspicious because Michael Baldwin is giving her this big night of unplanned romance. It's like when a guy does something bad and then brings home flowers after he screwed up. So Lauren is very suspicious, and Michael distracts Lauren with champagne and with dancing, but she demands the truth from Michael, basically telling him, "Come clean or else." Their son Fenmore calls and interrupts, but Lauren is back to threats after the call ends. Michael finally confesses that Cain is a huge danger to a lot of people in Genoa City. And Michael says he is the only one who can probably stop him. We'll see about that. Sally doesn't want to talk to Billy, but he's begging her to meet him. Audra advises Sally to make a clean break because she says otherwise Billy is going to drag her down with him. Truer words, I tell you. Sally does agree to meet Billy, and they're at the Overlook, and she admits that she told Jack and Diane about the AI that Cain has. Billy says Sally was right about everything, and he is done with Cain. However, it seems like Sally is done with Billy. Sally isn't buying what he's trying to sell, but Billy is insisting he's lost everything, and he just wants her. Sally feels very used, especially since Billy lied to her when he said Jack pulled the Abbott.com funding. If you remember, Billy told Jack to take the money. Jack just didn't up and take it. Sally rants about how she risked it all, gave up this great career that was her passion. And what happened? Billy ate her down because of his revenge and his fixation and his obsession. And then he tries to blame Cain for all of their issues, but Sally is like, "No, Billy, this is on you." On Thursday, September 25th, Jack has one last trick that he wants to try to protect Jabot and stop Billy from doing something more foolish. Jill Abbott is coming back to Genoa City soon, so maybe it's Jack who calls her and says, "Look, Cain is being problematic. Billy is being problematic. Come home, set them both straight." But we do know definitely that Jess Welton is back to Young and the Restless. Cain gets a tempting offer from Victor Newman that he at least pretends to consider. Victor demands to know from Cain, "Are you in or are you out?" He's stalling and tells Victor that he needs time to think it through. But he tells Cain, "As soon as I walk off your little train car, that's it. The deal is off the table." Billy is pushing Sally, pressing her to make a tough decision, which is to stay with him. Have faith, give him one last chance. We'll see. I frankly hope Sally dumps Billy, but I don't know. She may give him one last chance. We'll find out. Friday, September 26th. Cain kicks somebody to the curb. Looks like somebody from the inner circle may be kicked out. Michael is a traitor for Victor, and Cain may figure that out, or he may catch Michael at something. I doubt that Cain would fire Amanda Sinclair. She's been with him all along, and honestly, even if Cain tried to kick Phyllis Summers out, she won't leave. She wants to be part of his big plan. Victor considers making peace with Jack, like working together against Cain. That would be a smart move. Unless, of course, Victor is lying to play a trick on Jack. Nikki Newman is in for a big shock. If it's Jack and Victor working together, yeah, I think she would be shocked. And I'm not sure she would buy it. She may be shocked if the AI starts targeting Chancellor the week of September 29th through October 3rd. Jill is back soon. She can't believe the mess that Cain and Billy have made. In her fall storyline, Jill's return causes Billy a lot more angst. Like him or not, Cain has made a huge success of himself, which is something that Billy has never been able to do. He gets so far, and then he manages to screw things up. With Chancellor, he was actually doing okay, and then Jill pulled the rug out from under him. Jill always forgives whatever Cain does, no matter how bad it is. Jill's return is going to fuel Billy Abbott's anger and his feelings of insecurity. Phyllis keeps trying to get closer to Cain, but in a personal way. If Jack and Victor do make an alliance, that is going to shock the Abbotts and the Newmans. It does make sense, and I think all of us would like to see Victor's stupid vendetta against Jack put aside. Sally makes plans for her future. Is it going to be with Billy or without? Is she going to try and get back at Marchetti? Is she going to go to Lauren and ask for a job at Fenmore? Is she going to try and restart her own firm? We'll see. Kyle worries he has lost Clare for good, and he might if she ends up packing a bag and going to LA with Holden Novak. She's definitely thinking about expanding her romantic horizons on Young and the Restless. Also, look for the October debut of Tamara Braun. We're also going to have Roger Howarth debuting in a mystery role. Matt Cohen is back, debuting as Detective Burrow in the LA story that's coming in mid-October. This is when we're also going to see recast Noah Newman, who is played by Lucas Adams. We got 3 General Hospital people coming. Tamara Braun, Roger Howarth, and Matt Cohen were all on GH. But interestingly, Lucas Adams and Tamara Braun were on Days of Our Lives together. They actually played mother and son. Nick Newman and Sharon Newman are part of this LA side story as well, and Holden may be in the mix. We'll see if Clare is in there as well. The Young and the Restless spoilers indicate that Kyle Abbott is pushing Clare Newman too hard. Kyle is pushing Clare right into another man's arms, even though he doesn't mean to. Clare may feel that she has no other recourse but to break things off and hope they can find their way back to each other. Kyle has lied to Clare one too many times. Instead of making things better, Kyle is piling more pressure on Clare instead of just stopping and allowing her to think things over and decide whether or not she can deal with this. After all, Kyle has lied to her several times. Just how much more will she have to take before she gill their relationship? Everyone has told Kyle to take a step back and allow Clare to process everything that has happened. Instead, Kyle is pushing Clare right into Holden Novak's arms. Clare has already told her mother that Holden has caught her eye, and he has also offered to take Clare to LA with him. Will Clare break things off with Kyle? Clare certainly has her eye on Holden Novak, and may decide that she needs to see where this goes, since she hasn't dated anyone but Kyle. Clare told Holden she wanted to go to Disneyland. Holden has agreed that it would be a good idea. Will Clare take off with Holden and check out Disneyland, leaving Kyle behind to figure out where he went wrong? Clare doesn't want to hurt Kyle, but she certainly doesn't believe she can get past what he did either. Clare is ready to move past her first relationship, and what else is out there waiting for her? Is Holden about to become Clare's ex now that she wants to be with Holden? How will Kyle's son handle their breakup? Kyle may act as though he wants nothing to do. Audra Charles. Unfortunately, Kyle's actions do not fit his words. Kyle is always passionate in his arguments with Audra, and she acts the same. Will Kyle and Audra end up back together in an actual relationship this time? Are both Clare and Kyle fooling themselves? Holden is falling head over heels for Clare from what we can see. Will Clare fall for Holden just as hard, even though this is only her second relationship? Can Holden give Clare the love and security that Kyle and his numerous lies cannot? The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Courtney Hope began playing Sally Spectra on The Bold and the Beautiful in January 2017. Sally was introduced as the grandniece of the original Sally Spectra. Sally exited The Bold and the Beautiful in August 2020 before joining The Young and the Restless in November 2020. The Young and the Restless's Sally left Los Angeles for Geno City to get a fresh start. Sally had reunited with Adam Newman before he cheated on her with Chelsea Lawson. Since Sally and Adam's split, she has begun a relationship with Billy Abbott. However, rumors have begun to swirl, claiming she is leaving. Hope addressed them. On January 26th, Hope shared a story addressing the rumors. Hope also shared a screenshot of the site that started the rumor. The teaser read, "Courtney Hope says goodbye to Y&R. A new chapter awaits the beloved star." Hope was upset by the post, saying, "This is not true, and it really is infuriating when people put out false news just to get a reaction out of the fans. I'm not leaving. I'm not taking a break. No such thing has been uttered. Deplorable clickbait." Hope then commented on the site where the post originated, saying, "I have absolutely no idea where you're getting your information." She went on to say, "I would really appreciate you stopping the spread of misinformation. You're getting people worked out for no reason," Courtney shared. "This is not my first go-around with false narratives." She goes on to say that she has gotten used to such stories. Hope is not happy with these sites because "I have a problem with preying on people's emotions." Of course, soap fans often get worked up over the idea of a fan favorite exiting. Hope continued, "You know, we at The Young and the Restless work really hard to make sure our fan base is valued and seen and heard. And I have a problem when somebody takes that value system of us and uses it for their own self-satisfaction and their own gratification for clickbait, for boosting their own presence." The Young and the Restless fans were stunned after learning Kate Linder's latest honor. The beloved actress, known for her role as Esther Valentine, admitted she was shocked by this special recognition. Her surprise echoes the excitement of viewers who cherish her long-running character. Kate Linder is being honored with the prestigious Silver Circle Award at the upcoming Daytime Emmys. This award is reserved for industry professionals who have devoted at least 25 years of distinguished service to television. For Linder, the honor feels both unexpected and surreal. In an exclusive interview, Linder confessed her shock over receiving such an acknowledgement. She explained how humbling it feels to be celebrated alongside some of the most respected names in the business. The actress added that this moment feels like an unforgettable milestone in her long career. Since her debut in 1982, Linder's character, Esther Valentine, has been an integral part of Genoa City. Originally Catherine Chancellor's loyal maid, Esther grew into a beloved figure with deep ties to the show's core families. Her humor and heartfelt moments have made her a fan favorite. Today, Esther has transitioned from housemaid duties to working at Crimson Lights. Even in smaller appearances, she continues to deliver memorable scenes, whether through witty banter or heartfelt advice. Fans love that her presence brings nostalgia while still adding fresh energy to the canvas. Linder's recognition comes alongside other industry greats like Judy Bly-Wilson and James Reynolds. Jane Elliott of General Hospital will also receive a Gold Circle Award. These awards highlight professionals who have shaped daytime drama for decades and inspired generations of viewers and colleagues. Linder expressed gratitude to be part of such a distinguished group. She revealed she has known many of her fellow honorees for years and feels honored to share this journey with them. For her, the award is not just personal, it represents a celebration of the soap community. Fans wondering about Esther's future on The Young and the Restless won't have to wait long. Reports confirm she will appear in upcoming episodes, ensuring her story remains alive within the fabric of Genoa City. Her presence promises touching moments and lighthearted exchanges at Crimson Lights. The actress also reflected on how much she enjoys the little comedic touches Esther brings. Whether reminding Cain to pay his tab or engaging in quick-witted dialogue, Linder treasures these beats. It's clear she finds joy in every scene, no matter the size of the role. Kate Linder's shock at The Young and the Restless move highlights her humble spirit and enduring legacy. Her Silver Circle recognition proves her invaluable impact on daytime drama. Fans can celebrate alongside her as Esther continues to grace Genoa City. Stay tuned with Soap Opera Daily for more updates. Once again, this week's slow-burning storyline involves Audra on The Young and the Restless. She's been arguing with characters left and right and has a burning hatred for Genoa City's elite. So, what's happening with her Y&R storyline? Zuleika Silver is celebrating 3 years of playing Audra Charles. She admitted that her growth has been slow to start. Viewers don't know much about Audra, other than the fact that she has a drunken, abusive father. Also, she hates the wealthy, despite wanting to be rich and successful. She has no problem calling Kyle a nepo baby, which could suggest a wealthy family or individual hurt her in the past. This burning hatred might have made her ruthless and determined to be as successful as those she feels were handed everything. She also made it clear to Nate that she wasn't interested in marriage or children. The Newmans and Abbotts rarely agree on anything, but they do agree on one thing. Audra should leave town. Kyle and Clare vow to make that happen, especially after she ruined their relationship. But she's not willing to go away quietly. She might create a scheme that might make her more powerful and successful than all of GC's elite. The perfect person that Audra could team up with is Cain. It's also possible that we'll learn more about Audra once she reconnects with Noah. The two were in a serious relationship when they lived in London. However, they broke up, and Audra was pregnant with Noah's baby. But then she lost it, which could be why she's against commitment. Either way, we're interested in seeing what's next for Audra. Y&R fans have a wild theory that Audra becomes the next murder victim in the latest whodunit. She has a long list of enemies who wish her unwell, so it wouldn't be a reach. Audra's storyline might be stalled, but it's bound to add layers to this complicated character. In the Monday, September 29th episode of The Young and the Restless, teasers reveal that Victor sets a trap for Cain. Does this leave Nick, Adam, and Chelsea waiting for the fallout? Or are they actually involved in carrying out the plan? Nick has been anti-Cain, especially since the man locked him up during their summer vacation in Nice, France. But he's also had reservations about how far his dad was willing to go to stop the man from doing any damage to the family company. Is he good with whatever manner Victor chooses to stop Cain? Meanwhile, Adam has been pro-pop doing whatever it takes to bring down Cain, AI software and all. Surprisingly, Chelsea has been on board, as long as it keeps the focus off of Billy, right, Chelsea? On Monday, look for a meeting of the minds, as Nick, Adam, and Chelsea seem to be on the periphery of Victor's plan to take down Cain. The Newman guru didn't get his hands on that incredibly powerful AI software that can take down companies, and he was unsuccessful in weaponizing Cain to use it against Jabot. So, what part do Victor's children play in this war and his latest plan? And does this scheme have anything to do with working with his fiercest rival, Jack Abbott? Genoa City, WI. In the deceptive quiet before an inevitable storm, Sally Spectra is performing a dangerous high-wire act, balancing her heart's devotion to Billy Abbott with the fierce ambition that has defined her life. A secret she's keeping from Billy threatens to send them both over the edge, a secret named Abbott Communications. As the creative force behind the struggling media company, Sally finds herself caught in a web of Abbott family dysfunction. With Jack Abbott stubbornly refusing to return misappropriated funds and the board demanding accountability, Sally has made a bold move. Bypassing both Jack and Billy, she has directly contacted the formidable Jill Abbott with a radical proposal, a financial bailout with serious strings attached. In a tense video call, Sally laid out a plan not just to save the company, but to heal the fractured relationships tearing it apart. She proposed a new funding package contingent on transparent controls, independent oversight, and strict performance metrics, a system designed to remove the emotion-fueled chaos that has plagued the Abbotts. But Sally's plan has a critical flaw in the eyes of the family patriarchs, Billy's trusted advisor, Cain Ashby. For Jack, Cain's involvement is a non-starter, while Jill remains deeply wary of his checkered past. While Sally navigates this corporate minefield, a darker, more sinister plot is unfolding in the shadows. Rumors are swirling of a murder plot targeting Sally, tying her to the unsolved cases of Damien and Chance. Whispers suggest Damien was involved in a money laundering ring using art NFTs, a scheme Chance was investigating before his own troubles began. Sally's demand for transparency at Abbott Communications could expose illicit financial flows connected to these crimes, making her a target for someone with everything to lose. Would a potential attacker silence her for good? Or could Sally, ever the strategist, stage her own near-death experience to lure the true villain out of hiding? The situation is further complicated by an unthinkable alliance forming between rivals Jack Abbott and Victor Newman. A pact designed to scrutinize Cain's dealings and protect their respective empires. And this has sent shockwaves through their families, forcing a tense confrontation between Nikki Newman and Diane Jenkins. Nikki, suspicious of any deal involving Victor, has pressured Diane to take an active role in monitoring the alliance, putting Diane in the precarious position of saving her family by complying with a process that could expose its deepest flaws. Ultimately, all roads lead to the impending return of Jill Abbott to Genoa City. Her physical presence is the catalyst needed to force a reckoning. Jill won't be swayed by sentiment. She will demand data, risk assessments, and a clear path to profitability. Her arrival will force everyone to lay their cards on the table, transforming whispers and rumors into hard facts. The future of Abbott Communications, the fate of Sally and Billy's relationship, and the very stability of the Abbott legacy now hang in the balance, resting on whether this fractured family can finally choose a system of transparent accountability over a